All right, everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into something a little different, something you might not expect from us.
Oh,
A fantasy film.
okay. I'm intrigued.
It's called Journey to the Cursed Realm. And I know, it might seem like a big leap from what we usually cover.
Yeah, a bit of a departure.
But trust me on this one.
All right.
Even in a story about, princesses and magic and all that, there's actually a lot to unpack, a lot we can learn from it.
I mean, I'm always up for exploring a good story and finding those deeper meanings.
Right, exactly. And this film, it really plays with those classic fairy tale tropes.
Yeah, yeah.
It uses those familiar elements, but then dives into some pretty complex themes like isolation and power, even redemption.
Absolutely. And it does it in a way that's, it's really thought-provoking.
Exactly. And one of the things that really grabbed me right away was, well, the hero, right?
A hero, yeah.
This isn't your typical knight in shining armor. We're talking about a blind blacksmith.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting.
I know, right? Immediately, it makes you kind of rethink those assumptions about, well, who can be a hero?
Yeah, and what makes a hero?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do we even define strength?
It sets up a really interesting exploration of that whole idea, about how limitations, whether it's something physical, like blindness, or even societal limitations, can actually become, well, a source of strength.
Yeah, almost like an unexpected strength, something you wouldn't expect.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start with the curse itself, right? King Shoron, he's been cursed by this power-hungry magician, Zafar. Yeah, and the curse, well, it's pretty intense. Eternal solitude, and anyone who looks at him turns to stone. So, what's your take on this curse? How does it set the tone for the whole film?
Well, what I find fascinating is how the curse itself is like a reflection of Zafar's own desires. It's like he wants power, absolute power,
Yeah.
but he also craves this isolation, this keeping everyone at a distance.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And it's exactly what the curse does to King Shoran, right? It isolates him completely.
And that visual, right?
Yeah.
Everyone around Shoron, frozen in stone.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful image.
It really is.
It really hits you with the impact of that isolation, not just for Shoron himself, but for, like, the whole kingdom.
Right, and it creates this atmosphere. It's haunting, this stillness, this silence.
That's heavy.
Yeah, and it's a constant reminder of how powerful that curse is, and what's at stake here.
Totally. Okay, so then we have Princess Eva. She's not exactly your typical damsel in distress, is she?
No, not at all. She's got this, fierce determination to save her father, who's ailing.
Yeah.
And she's willing to do whatever it takes, even defy her father, to go on this dangerous quest for King Shoran's crown, this magical crown.
It's interesting how her journey, it kind of mirrors Shoran's isolation in a way.
How so?
Well, she's choosing to isolate herself, right?
Oh, I see.
She's leaving the safety of her palace, going out into this world that's full of danger, full of the unknown.
Yeah, that's a good point. It definitely raises these questions about, the sacrifices we make for the people we love, how far we're willing to go to protect them.
And sometimes those sacrifices, even if it's to help, they can lead to these unexpected forms of isolation.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so we have Eva. She's driven by love for her father. She's going into the unknown. And then we have Martin, the blind blacksmith, and somehow their paths cross.
Right. It's in that meeting that we start to see the film really challenging those ideas we have about, heroism, and what it means to be capable.
Yeah.
You have Eva, who seems like the more traditional hero, right? She's the one setting out on the quest.
Yeah.
But then there's Martin, who, even though he's blind, he's got this incredible strength.
And the film doesn't shy away from showing us how he navigates the world, right?
Nah.
He's using his other senses.
Yeah.
He's not portrayed as someone to be pitied, He's incredibly skilled. He's resourceful.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether he's making weapons or finding his way through a forest, he's got it figured out.
It's like his blindness has almost heightened his awareness of everything around him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like he's had to develop his other senses to a point that, well, it's remarkable.
It's a powerful reminder that, well, what we see as limitations, they can often be these amazing strengths.
Right, exactly.
So Eva needs to get her sword sharpened, and she ends up at Martin's house. She's trying to keep her identity a secret.
Makes sense.
But Martin's mother, she recognizes her instantly.
Oh, wow.
I love how the film brings in this maternal figure,
Yeah.
She just gets it, the danger Eva's in.
It adds a whole other layer to the story, right?
Totally.
You have this clash between the mother wanting to protect her child, which is natural,
Of course.
but then there's also this respect for Eva's courage, her determination.
Yeah, it's this delicate balance, and the film handles it beautifully.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you have this great scene where Eva finally tells Martin about her mission,
Mm,
and he doesn't even hesitate. He decides to join her. What do you make of that? What does it tell us about him?
I think it shows a lot about his compassion, and his sense of duty. I
Yeah.
mean, remember, he's a blacksmith. He's spent his life serving the kingdom, making weapons for soldiers.
Yeah, he's always been a protector in a way.
Right. And so deciding to help Eva, it's like an extension of that. He sees someone in need and he steps up, even with his own challenges.
It's like true heroism. It's not about looking a certain way or having physical strength. It's about that inner drive to do what's right.
Exactly. To protect those who need it, to face the unknown.
And what I find so compelling about their partnership is that they each bring something so important to the table. Eva, she's got the knowledge about the quest and that determination to see it through. And Martin, he brings his strength and his resourcefulness and that heightened awareness we talked about.
Right, they complement each other perfectly. It's like the film is showing us that real strength that comes from collaboration, you know,
Mm.
recognizing what each person brings.
Yeah, it's like valuing those unique strengths.
Exactly. And I think that's such an important message, especially today, where it's all about individual achievement.
Yeah.
This film reminds us that we don't have to go through things alone. There's power in joining forces, supporting each other.
Yeah, I love that. Speaking of support, we got to talk about Martin's mom for a second. She clearly loves her son, but she's terrified for him.
Well, yeah, who wouldn't be? He's about to go on this crazy, dangerous quest with a princess he just met.
Right.
It's that classic parent thing,
Mm.
Love being both this source of strength, but also sometimes a bit of an obstacle.
Yeah, she wants to keep him safe, but she also knows he's going to do what he feels he needs to do.
It's a tough spot to be in, for sure.
And the way she comes to terms with it, giving him supplies, sending him off with a blessing.
It's heartwarming.
It is. It's like she understands, even though it hurts, that she can't hold him back.
It's a powerful moment, that acceptance. It shows how strong their bond is.
Absolutely. She's not just letting him go, she's supporting him, even if it's hard.
Yeah, it's that deep love,
Yeah.
recognizing that sometimes letting go,
Mhm.
that's the most loving thing you can do.
And with that, Martin's off into this dangerous, uncharted territory, following Eva. It's the beginning of their journey together.
And who knows what they'll face.
This is where things get really interesting.
I can't wait to hear more about it. So their journey, it's not exactly a walk in the park, right?
Oh, definitely not. It's like the landscape itself reflects the struggles they're going through.
Yeah, like it's a metaphor or something.
Totally.
Yeah.
One of the first challenges Martin runs into, it's this goblin.
A goblin.
Yeah, he's guarding the path to Choron's palace. Now, you'd think, okay, big fight scene, right?
Yeah, classic fairy tale stuff.
But instead, it turns into this clever game of wits.
Oh, interesting.
It really highlights that whole idea that strength, it's not always about muscles.
Yeah, yeah.
Martin, he uses his intelligence, his understanding of people.
Oh.
He outsmarts the goblin, uses the goblin's greed to get what he needs.
I like that it's a different take.
It's refreshing, right? It subverts those expectations. Sometimes a sharp mind is just as good as a sharp sword.
For sure. And it also makes you rethink the goblin, right?
Yeah, oh, totally.
At first he seems like a threat, but then he gives Martin valuable information.
Yeah, and even warns him about the witch.
It's like the film is saying, hey, wisdom can come from anywhere.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what someone looks like or their social status. Knowledge is knowledge.
Exactly.
And of course, Martin meets the witch, just like the goblin said he would.
And she tries to trick him.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
She tries to lure him into a trap, promising information about Eva.
Playing on his worries.
Totally. It's classic manipulation, preying on those fears, those deep desires.
It shows how tricky the path to our goals can be.
Yeah, there are always these tests, these temptations to take shortcuts, to make decisions based on fear.
It's easy to fall for that.
But Martin, he remembers what the goblin said.
Smart.
And he sees through her deception. It shows his resilience, his ability to think clearly, even when things are intense.
And that resilience, it gets tested even more when he has to climb this treacherous mountain.
Oh, yeah, that scene.
It's a physical challenge, but it also represents those internal struggles, right? The doubts, the fears.
It's like the mountain becomes a metaphor for all the obstacles we face in life.
And the climb, it shows how much determination it takes to overcome them.
Absolutely. And then there's that twist where we find out Herjo, the advisor,
Yeah.
he's actually Zafar.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, he's been disguised this whole time, using magic to stay alive for centuries.
Talk about a plot twist.
It adds a whole other level to the themes of deception and power.
Right, like Zafar is so obsessed with control that he'll betray anyone, do anything to keep it.
And then he turns the goblin to stone.
Oh no.
Just for helping Martin. It's cold, you know? It shows what happens when ambition goes unchecked.
It hurts to see, especially after the goblin was genuinely kind to Martin.
Yeah, Zafar doesn't care about kindness, only power.
And he almost wins, too. He tries to get Martin to kill King Shoron.
Oh, I remember that. He pretends to be the goblin, right?
Yeah, trying to trick Martin into doing his dirty work.
It's clever, but so messed up. He's using Martin's goodness against him.
It's a reminder that not everyone who seems helpful actually has good intentions.
You gotta be careful, question things, be aware of who might be taking advantage of you.
It's so important.
Luckily, Martin's intuition kicks in. He knows something isn't right, and he refuses to kill Shoron.
Whew, what a relief.
It shows his character, his ability to see the truth, even when it's hidden.
That's when the real battle begins, right?
Yeah.
Martin versus Zafar.
It's not just a physical fight, it's this huge clash between good and evil, compassion and cruelty.
And the fate of the kingdom hangs in the balance.
Exactly. It's intense. And Martin, he actually wins.
Wow.
He uses his heightened senses, his belief in himself, to defeat Zafar once and for all.
That's amazing. But it sounds like there's a but coming.
Yeah, it's a victory, but it's also kind of bittersweet.
Why is that?
Well, the palace is still filled with those statues, a reminder of all the damage Zafar caused.
Oh, right.
And when Martin finds Eva, she's been turned to stone too.
Oh, no. That's awful.
It's heartbreaking, you know? It shows how fragile life is and what happens when ambition takes over.
The stakes just got even higher.
We're heading into the final act, and the tension is through the roof. It really is a powerful image, you know? This whole palace frozen. It's like a snapshot of what they're fighting for.
And in the middle of it all, you have Martin,
Yeah.
determined to break that curse, bring everyone back.
He doesn't give up, even when it seems impossible.
It's that resilience, that refusal to lose hope.
And then, just when things seem their bleakest, there's a bit of hope.
What happens?
King Shoron, he senses someone's there, and he calls out to Martin.
Wow, so even with the curse, he can still sense things.
It's like this incredibly poignant moment, you know?
Yeah.
This king, he's been totally alone for who knows how long.
Centuries, right,
And suddenly, he can communicate again.
with a human.
And get this, Martin, he doesn't turn to stone when he looks at Shoron.
Really. But the curse.
I know, right? It's the first sign that maybe, just maybe, the curse can be broken.
That's incredible.
And it's Martin's blindness, what we thought was a weakness, it becomes the key.
Wow, that's powerful.
It challenges how we think about perception, you know? True sight, it's not always about what you see with your eyes.
There's more to it than that.
It's like the film is saying that sometimes those limitations, they give you a new way of seeing things, something others miss.
I like that.
And it's through that different way of seeing that Martin connects with Shoron.
Yeah, on a deeper level.
Now, Shoron, he's desperate to end this isolation. He begs Martin to kill him.
We kill him.
Yeah, he thinks that's the only way to break the curse.
That's heavy.
It's heartbreaking, you know,
Okay.
to hear that level of despair.
And Martin, what does he do?
You can see the struggle, right?
Yeah, I bet.
He wants to help, but killing, it goes against everything he believes in.
That's a tough situation.
It shows how complex he is, you know? He's not just this simple hero who does what he's told.
Right.
He thinks things through, he's compassionate, and he's got this strong moral compass.
It's his compassion that leads him to refuse. Right?
Exactly. He senses that there's still good in Shoron, that killing him would be wrong.
It's a bold move to defy the king.
But it shows his belief in redemption, that people can change.
It's a powerful message,
Yeah.
especially in a world that's so quick to judge.
And that's when Zafar reveals himself. He's furious that his plan failed.
Oh, so he was watching all along.
The battle that happens then, it's more than just a fight.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's this clash of two totally different ways of seeing the world.
Good versus evil.
More than that even. Zafar, he's all about greed, control, dominating others.
That Martin.
He represents compassion, freedom, that belief in humanity.
And who wins?
Martin. Even though Zafar has magic and centuries of experience,
It's David and Goliath.
it's about courage, resourcefulness, and believing in yourself.
I love how Martin's victory, it's not about brute force.
Right. He outsmarts Zafar, uses his unique abilities.
That's so satisfying.
And with Zafar gone, the curse breaks. The palace comes back to life. Everyone's turning back to normal,
Including Eva.
including Eva. It's this amazing moment of release, good triumphing over evil.
And Hope winning out.
Now we see the impact of what Martin did.
It wasn't just about saving the kingdom, right?
No, he also freed Choron from that isolation.
Powerful stuff.
Choron, he's overwhelmed with gratitude. He offers Martin any reward.
So what does he ask for?
Not riches, not power. He asks for Eva's safety.
He's so selfless.
It shows his true character, how much he cares about protecting others.
That's true heroism.
And then Choron, he does something incredible. He uses his magic to restore Martin's sight.
Wow, after all that time.
Can you imagine to suddenly see the world after a lifetime in darkness?
It must have been overwhelming.
It's more than just physical sight, you know.
Yeah, it's symbolic.
It represents the power of kindness, compassion, seeing beyond the surface.
It's like when we help others, we get these unexpected blessings.
And for Martin, it's not just about seeing the world, it's about seeing himself, what he's capable of.
There's a whole future ahead of him.
And the story, it keeps going.
Oh.
Choron, he knows he's not going to live forever, so he names Eva and Martin as his heirs.
What? That's a twist.
It shows how the film values hope, renewal.
Right, leadership. It's not about bloodlines or power. It's about character.
And Choron sees that in them, those qualities of true leaders.
I bet Eva's father was happy to see them.
Oh, absolutely. They go back to her kingdom. Her father's cured thanks to Choron's magic.
Happy ending.
It's a celebration of family, of love, of hope enduring.
It feels like the perfect ending to their journey.
It is. It's about coming home, starting fresh.
And knowing that they'll rule wisely and compassionately.
So what do we take away from all this? I think Journey to the Cursed Realm, it's more than just a fairy tale.
Definitely.
It's about compassion breaking down barriers, healing, bringing hope to dark places.
And about finding strength in what we think are our weaknesses.
Those limitations, they can give us a unique perspective, unexpected power.
And the importance of human connection.
That even when things are tough, there's always light, there's love, there's redemption.
Beautiful message.
It really is something we can all carry with us. So as we wrap things up here, I want to leave you with a question.
Okay.
What are your invisible strengths? What talents, abilities, perspectives are waiting to be discovered?
We all have them.
Maybe, like Martin, you have the power to see things differently, to break down those barriers, to bring hope where there wasn't any.
The journey to find our true potential, it's full of surprises.
But it's in those challenges, pushing ourselves, that we find our strength and make a real difference.
It's worth it.
So keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep.